follow us on Twitter at PantsFreePod. You'll only regret it a little.
I'm ready to rock and roll, bitches.
You are? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Prove it. I guess that's a yes.
Hello and welcome to another fantastic edition of the Pants Free Podcast. Pants never required. Here now is your host, Felonious Francine Marconi, and his podcast compadre, Nick Miles.
Hey, welcome to another edition of the Pants Free Podcast. My name is Felonious Francine Marconi. Joined with me, as always, as the man said already, is Nick Miles, my podcast compadre. Yay!
That was a huge crowd of a welcome. I felt like the audience erupted.
They did. They were waiting for you to walk out through the curtain, and they're like, oh my gosh, who is that bearded lass? Sir, guy, fellow.
I'm wearing a towel today.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You just stepped out of the shower to do the podcast?
Yeah.
And we even did a behind-the-scenes podcast this time. No different from the actual podcast.
Yeah, well, no, it's very different. In the behind-the-scenes podcast, we let our hair down. In the actual podcast, we have it up in a bun.
Yeah, right. We're very buttoned up.
Yeah, we are. I have hard shoes on, too, with my towel.
Oh, well.
I have to put them on after the pre-funk because it's more formal.
Well, Nick, a lot of things going on this week. A lot of kids going back to school, which always kind of bums me out, and I don't even go back to school. I just remember that sinking feeling of having to go back to school after a long, awesome summer.
I'm pretty sick of people putting back-to-school pictures on Facebook. This morning on Instagram, I posted a not back-to-school photo of my dogs who aren't going back to school, and they're very happy not to be going back to school.
Did your mom take pictures of you on the first day?
Oh, maybe the very first day of school in my uniform. But for me, pictures that you share on the internet should be having fun, not the next 3-4 months of drudgery going back to it.
I hate that that adults with kids are always telling you summer's over, summer's over. For who? It's the same exact thing for me. Is until it gets freezing cold again, it's summer to me.
Right.
And I hate it. Always seems like people are so happy to tell you that summer's over. I live my life as an adult without kids. I have summer for the rest of my life. But most parents are kind of excited because then they get their days free again.
Right, and it's party time.
Yeah, they take their kids to school. They go out with the girls, have some drinks, and then they pick their kids up half drunk.
Right. Woohoo!
What's more exciting than that?
Nobody should be driving and drinking. That's
suburban white. Well, they take the train then. Junior, where's the car, Mommy? Mommy got a little drunk at lunch.
Yeah. Mommy's tanked, so we're taking
We're taking the bus home today. But, Mommy, I could just take that without you. You're right. I'll see you later, Junior. Back to the bar. Back to the luncheon.
Find all the links to everything Pants Free Podcast exclusively at pantsfreepod.com.
Well, Nick, just like most people, I do my best to, stay in shape. And I've been using the Lose It app. Have you ever heard of that?
No. I should look it up on the .com-erage.
It's like one of the main apps on iPhone. I think you can get it on all platforms now. But, basically I have a calorie budget every day. And I know what everything calories-wise, what it is. So if, my girlfriend says, hey, let's go to lunch, and we're going somewhere. You know how most people, like in the old days, you just go, I'll just have a salad with some chicken, and that'd be your deal? Well, now you don't have to do that because you just look at what calories are in everything. Like, if you want a panini, I can have a half a panini, and then I'm fine.
Yeah,
and that's really what real life should be like.
Right.
Just learning how to eat properly instead of gorging yourself every time.
That's the thing is it's volume.
And so with this app, it's helped me a lot. And I've been losing like 5 or 6 pounds a week. I think I may be dead.
Excellent.
It's seriously, every time we're at a restaurant that like you have to search the internet for the calories, I want to kill myself. Right. It's so much easier just to go to like a typical chain restaurant, and I don't do that a lot. So it's so much easier, though. You go into Starbucks, and it's like, a latte is 150 calories. Okay, there you go. That's your snack.
And that's really frightening for me when I start reading those calorie counters. Doesn't it change what you order when you look at the menu? Like in California, they have to list the calories of everything.
Yeah, and they do that more and more in restaurants everywhere. But if they don't have it available and it's hard to find online, that you're in for it. It's like, oh, that's 1,000 calories just for that salad that you just got.
And I look at that and I'll have the vegetable plate, thanks.
Well, sir, there's so many calories in that. You're going to want to reconsider. It's 2,000 calories. What? Yeah, we soak it in pure lung fat.
Lung fat? That sounds mildly delicious.
Nick, you know what's fun? Eating Dave's Killer Bread. It's always a good time. And usually, even with my Lose It app, I leave room to have a nice, delicious slice of Dave's Killer Bread with some almond butter. Oh, man. That's a good evening treat right after your workout. I love that.
I had 2 slices of Dave's Killer Bread for breakfast this morning.
If you haven't tried Dave's Killer Bread, what's wrong with you? I mean, we talk about it here on the podcast every week, week in and week out. Dave'sKillerBread.com. No, nobody wants to scold you, but the reason I get so upset is because if you've tasted Dave's Killer Bread, you know. Nick, before you had Dave's Killer Bread in your mouth, bread was just like, okay, I guess I'll have bread. But once you did it, it changed your life, didn't it?
Dave's Killer Bread changed my life from beginning to end. It's sweety, meaty, and delicious.
That's right. Is that their new slogan? I think they should pick that up.
Sweety, meaty, and delicious.
Go to daveskillerbread.com. Just say no to bread on drugs.
And now it's time for Pants Free News.
Nick, this is my favorite time of the podcast. I ceremoniously, I like to stand up, do a few deep knee bends before this happens, but I get really excited because it's time now for Pants Free News. Take it away, Big Daddy.
Oh, yeah, Pants Free News today. You may be going into a shop today, and it may be completely empty. Do you know why?
Oh, yeah, the Walmart, they're set to walk out today.
It's a protest of the Walmart employees.
Now, why is it, if you're listening to us on Thursday, Walmart is having a walkout because of, I guess recently a bunch of companies decided that they didn't want to pay their employees certain health benefits, like maybe they would discontinue spousal benefits, things like that.
Right. Walmart, amongst others, have some poor, let's say, employee support services, and it actually costs you sometimes money to shop at Walmart. Increases your taxes because the tax base has to cover these people who fall into this small gap between poverty and earning a wage. So, for instance, they can get health benefits, etc. And Walmart employees are protesting basically the poor employee support system that Walmart gives them by walking out on Thursday.
Well, and I support the employees doing what they need to do to get what they feel they deserve. I don't understand why a company wouldn't stand up for their employees or claim that something is going to devastate them financially. When you look at Walmart, there's never any sign that the company would go under if they actually paid an employee a livable wage. So I don't get that. I don't understand what the point of keeping someone from not making at least a livable wage. I mean, most of these people have families, and they're there because they have to, not because it's their dream. But why not make it a pleasant experience for them? I mean, you're making money hand over fist. Stop.
Well, the unions have been trying to get Walmart to agree to stuff for a while, and they had a deadline of Labor Day, and Walmart didn't meet it. So now they're taking action.
So they're grandstanding?
Yep, well, they're basically going to walk out. You know, I tried to shop at Costco, who pay their employees really well and still make a good profit.
Yeah, I don't understand, like, if one company can do this, and, like, Starbucks does it just fine, Walmart is everywhere. They're
saying the economics don't work for them, but several other people have managed to make it work. Walmart is not a good example. Costco is a good example, and there are several other retailers that do the same.
It's just embarrassing that Walmart is so famous for so many bad things. I'm sure if Sam Walton were alive, if he is alive, he'd be spinning in his grave.
Right.
If he were alive, that's how bad it is. He'd still be spinning in his grave.
It's the news. It's the news.
You know, this this man who captured 3 women or imprisoned 3 women is no longer a prisoner.
Yeah. Okay. So what's his name? I can't even think.
Ariel Castro.
Yeah. What a name.
He got life imprisonment, and he was being held at a detention center waiting to be transferred, I believe, to another prison. And they found him, the 53-year-old, at 9:20 last night, Ohio time, hanging in his cell.
He seemed not to enjoy captivity, so he had to end it all.
He would have spent the rest of his life in jail. We would never have heard of him again, except for one thing that troubles me, and that is how he was able to kill himself.
Yeah, did somebody give him a belt? Did he have like a Jethro from...
Did someone help him? How did he do it?
Well, the guard said that he checked on him every 30 minutes periodically.
Right, but the thing is, what did he have in his cell to allow him to hang himself, A? And B is, these guys have been running prisons for a long time. They should know better not to have left anything in the cell. So to me, it stinks of conspiracy.
They probably thought, well, nobody's going to care because you're a bastard and you're already sent to life in prison anyway. So What does it matter if you kill yourself or not? But the point is that that he basically got an easy escape and didn't have to serve any time, unlike the people that lived in his basement for years. It's kind of funny that the very thing he was doing to them, they didn't know if they were going to live or die even. At least he had a pretty good idea that he was going to be in solitary confinement and would probably live. These women that he held captive in his basement had no idea.
And one of the problems with me is I think he was a heinous, horrible man that did awful things to people, but at the same time, I think it's even worse if somebody killed him. Well, he should have had to sit in jail for his whole life and not. I think the suicide is the easy way out.
Hands-free news.
Be careful if you spit on the subway in New York City because your DNA might be used.
Yeah, I saw this thing, an article. They created faces from DNA left in public?
Yeah, it's a computer program that an artist has in New York where she can take the DNA off of cigarette butts, hairs, whatever she finds in public areas, and recreate the face.
And these faces were pretty creepy.
They are creepy, although she does say that there's a lot of stuff that's inaccurate in them, but some of them is accurate.
Are they showing this because look how close we're getting to being able to produce a whole person with just DNA?
I think it'd be interesting if they took DNA from crime scenes and did this.
In the pre-funk, Nick said, yeah, this story is kind of boring. I wish they were taking DNA and creating genitalia.
Yeah, I mean, it would be much more fun if she was creating genitalia out of, oh, look, I found this spit on the subway, and this is what the man's penis looks like. Well, in the next week, it sounds like all of these big tech companies are rolling out new product that'll be groundbreaking, the Apple iPhone 5S, and also the new Samsung Watch, which is basically going to be like a smartphone that's on the wrist.
Yeah, do we really need that, though? I mean, when's the last time you wore a watch?
Well, I would wear it if it was a phone.
Wasn't Apple set to create an iWatch or something like that?
I think everybody is. It sounds like 4 or 5 companies are rolling it out in the next 2 weeks or so. So that might be something that Apple rolls out too.
So do you think that Samsung is in a hurry to show everyone that they have a watch before Apple can?
Well, a lot of reports I've read says if it's any good, it could be the next big iPod. The Samsung thing, it could be the next big thing because if everybody can have their phone attached to their wrists at all times and it has a nice big screen on it and so you can watch movies on your wrist or whatever, they're saying it might be the thing that everybody goes to. Your music, your phone, everything plays from a little device on your wrist.
Well, I mean, I'm happy for technology to move forward and everything, and competition is always great. But when are we going to have a button on our phone that gives us pizza?
Yeah. Well, your iPhone will do that with the speed dial application.
When we get pizza on the phone, I think that's when we know we've made it.
When news breaks, we're the first there to mock it.
We talked about this in the pre-funk, but this Gresham couple closed down their Sweet Cakes by Melissa bakery store because the public didn't like the fact they wouldn't bake a cake for a same-sex couple.
Well, and they claim it's because they are Christians and blah, 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 the same kind of thing you hear. And somebody said on this piece that I actually watched, the public is who you're serving, not who you decide to serve. Like if you decide, you know how people say we reserve the right to refuse business to anyone? Usually that means someone who's belligerent and, drunk or misbehaving or public nuisance or whatever. Why do businesses feel that it's okay for them to discriminate? I think any kind of discrimination should be a law that you cannot discriminate against people or don't be in business. It's just a dumb move.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I think if you're going to have a business, you have to abide by the law, regardless of your views. I mean, look, you could take it to the other extreme. You could be a jihadist running a store and you believe that you should only serve people who are good Muslims and everybody else should be blown up. Well, then you have no right being here and having a store. On the other end, you have the rights to your views. You can't discriminate against who your customers are. You can ask them to maintain standards, but you can't say, hey, I'm only serving this type of people. I'm not, you can't discriminate against serving food to people with red hair.
If you're in business, shouldn't the only thing you really worry about is if the check clears?
You would think.
I mean, that's the bottom line is you want to make money. But it's also, to me, like you can either look at this like in an angry way, or you can look at it as like, wow, look, we're in a step forward where this place went out of business because of their discrimination. So I guess take away some positive from it and say, well, at least this business is no longer in existence and these people may or may not feel the way they still feel or whatever, but they're not doing business anymore. So, we win.
I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Well, there you have it. Another fine edition of the Pants Free Podcast. If you are curious as to where you might buy a t-shirt or a mug or maybe an iPhone case, go to our merch page at pantsfreepod.com and explore our world of merchandise.
And if you're interested in how to grow plants, you probably won't find the information there.
We need to sell a Nick J. Miles cravat.
With small Nick J. Miles printing all over it.
Wait, will you send me a link to where you buy your cravats? Because I think everybody should know. We should put that on the website.
Yeah, I get them from Amazon.com.
Oh, you do?
I can give you a good education in cravats. The silk ones are too loose and slip down your neck. You really need to have the non-silk ones, which are much stiffer, which stay up above the shirt line for the whole evening of attire of events.
This lesson in cravats has been brought to you by Nick J. Miles Cravat Services. For the Pants Free Podcast, I'm Belonius Francine Marconi, along with my pal Nick J. Miles, who's saying...
I'm wearing a cravat, but it's not around my neck.
Pantalone is a libero.
Pants Free Podcast.